Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Minute on the Mountain. I got Caleb with me today. Haven't been able to get out and hunt with him since the deer season, so we are out west of Tremont again on a little rabbit hunt, the same place that Andrew and I went, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago now. It's cold, but it is going to warm up today. It's supposed to be like 35 or 36 over here today. But right now it's probably low 20s because the sun just came up not long ago. So we're going to get all loaded up and head up here and see if we can get a couple cottontails down. Thanks for coming along. It's been really slow going so far, guys. We've only seen one jackrabbit, and he was a long ways out. We didn't try and shoot him. I don't know if it's because of the extra snowfall or we're earlier in the day than when Andrew and I came out. So maybe it's just not quite warm enough for them to be out of their dens and sunning yet. But for whatever reason, it's been super slow. We got about an hour and a half. And then we got to start heading back, so hopefully we'll get into a few. We've seen one more jackrabbit, so that's 2 for the day. It's been really slow. We're kind of heading our way back towards the truck. I mean, we're still hunting, but working back that direction. You still see it?
Yep. Pretty sure I hit it.
Yeah, you did. He dropped.
Oh, I see him. But not good.
Is he in front of me, to the right of me, or left of me?
He's right. I see him. Right behind this bush.
All right, Caleb hit him on the run. Nice shot. Then just finished him off. Nice job. All right. A little cottontail. Yeah. Hey, we're back in the kitchen. We've had this rabbit marinating for 24 hours now. It is in a combination of avocado oil, garlic powder, turmeric, some cumin, black pepper, and that's everything that's in the marinade. We're going to make Cottontail coconut kurma. So we're going to make an Indian dish, and I'm going to get the rabbit browned up in the pan. That's the first step to get it cooked. We'll show you that, and then I'll show you all the ingredients for the sauce. All right, we're browning the rabbit. I've got it on a pretty low heat. It's a little lower than medium. I want it to take its time. I'm hoping this comes out tender, especially as it simmers in the sauce. So all I'm doing is just browning it in the marinade that it was sitting in overnight. And then we'll take the rabbit out of this pan, and I'm going to use this same pan to make the sauce. So we've got our sauce simmering. I'll tell you the ingredients, and I'll put this on the screen too before the end of the video, but it's got a teaspoon of vegetable oil. I used avocado oil. 3 teaspoons of minced garlic, a half a teaspoon of ginger, half a teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon of cayenne, 1 canned diced tomatoes, 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, 3/4 cup of water, teaspoon of salt. I have not added the coconut milk yet. That comes at the end. and then the Indian curry spice comes at the end. So I've got 2 ingredients left to add. I did also add about a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper because I want this to have a little spice to it. And then, so we're going to let this simmer for about 3 minutes, and then I'll add the coconut milk, and then we let it simmer for about 20, and then we're done. All right, we have all the ingredients in, except for a little salt to taste, and we're going to add that in right now. The coconut milk is in, the Indian curry sauce is in, and now we're just going to let this simmer. I've got it on low, not quite simmer, I guess. We're going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes. Hopefully it gets that rabbit nice and tender where it just kind of pulls off the bone on those back quarters. And then I've got some water that should be boiling here in just a minute. We're just doing a boil in a bag rice to go with it. So we'll get the rice on in just a minute, and it should all get done at about the same time, which I'm normally not very good at that. Usually it's all done at different times, and I'm trying to keep it warm, etc. But the rice should be done right about the time this has been simmering for 20 minutes, and then we'll taste it and see what you guys think. Well, we'll see what I think, and I'll let you guys know. Well, everybody, here is the finished product. Just looking at it, if I had to do it again, I would have used, I think the recipe called for diced tomatoes, and I used crushed. And I would have rather had diced because they would have been smaller, I just think texture-wise. But it smells incredible, so let's see what the taste is. I went ahead and deboned the rabbit. So this is 1 hind quarter, 1 front quarter, and 1 of the little pieces off the back strap that I have on my plate. Let's see. It's got a good amount of heat. I put about the right amount of red pepper in it. I can taste the coconut from the coconut kurma. The rabbit's a little like acidic, almost a little sour. I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I did have some lemon juice in the marinade. And I think that's what I'm tasting. It's not overpowering. I still like it. But I think if I make this again, I won't put that lemon juice in the marinade. Overall, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. Yeah, I don't think I like it as much as some of the other recipes I've done with the rabbit. And the main reason is it's just a little too acidic for me. A little bit of a citrusy sour taste. And I'll bet it's from that lemon juice that I marinated the rabbit in. I'm gonna have Jordan give it a whirl, and Hannah if she will. We'll see what they think. Hang with me. Hannah's gonna be brave, and Hannah's gonna try it today. So go ahead, Hannah. Give it a whirl and see what you think, honey.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Well, that's good. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you score it?
Probably 5.
A 5. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for trying it, Hannah. Okay, Jordan's going to give it a rip now. Here we go. What do you think, Jordan? You make the funniest faces when you eat it. That was like total disgust on your face when you ate it.
4.
A 4.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jordan gave it a 4 out of 10. Andrew didn't get to eat the rabbit he harvested, and now Caleb's not going to eat the one he harvested, so Andrew's going to have a bite of Caleb's. He's going to try it in the curry and see what he thinks.
It's pretty good. I give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5? That's the best score I've gotten from Andrew. It is pretty good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that was a first. I don't think I've ever done a cooking video where one of the kids ranked it higher than I did. So Andrew thought that meal was better than I did. It's the next day from when we cooked and tested that. And I wanted to wrap this up with the channel shout out and the Minute on the Mountain. The channel I want to shout out is Mark J. Larson Outdoors. Mark's got a great channel, a lot of trapping videos, hunting videos. He just kind of wrapped up his coyote trapping season, and I happened to be watching that video as I was cooking that rabbit last night, and that's what made me want to shout out his channel. So if you've never checked out Mark's channel, I'll put a link in the description. Go check him out when you get some time. Tell him that Minute on the Mountain sent you. And then lastly, the Minute on the Mountain comes from Lamentations 1, verse 18. Let me pull it up here and I'll read it to you. So 1:18 says, "The Lord is righteous, yet I rebelled against his command. Listen, all you peoples, look on my suffering. My young men and young women have gone into exile." So Lamentations was written after the nation of Israel had been exiled. After generations of disobedience, God's patience finally wore thin, and he delivered on his promises. He had told them when they entered the promised land that if they obeyed his commands, things would go well with them and things would go well for them. But that if they disobeyed, that eventually they would face his judgment, and that's exactly what happened. And now after going through that, the writer recognizes that God is righteous, that Israel had rebelled against a righteous God. And he says, look at me, everyone, like this is what happens when you don't obey God. And the writer wanted his audience to see, like, things will go well with you if you obey, but if you don't, there are going to be consequences. And so, I feel like in a lot of ways our nation is going through something similar. I think we are facing the consequences of generations not following after the things of God. Now, I don't believe that the United States is the new Israel or anything like that. I'm not, that's not my theology, so I don't think that's what I'm saying. But there is a general principle of you reap what you sow. So let's learn from others who have already had to go through the consequences, and let's follow God because his commands are just. All right, that's the Minute on the Mountain for today. Thanks so much for coming along. Hope you guys enjoyed it. God bless you, and we'll see you the next time we're out on the mountain.